This is one of the projects that I'm currently working on. It's actually called codegenerator. So basically, a codegenerator generates code that will be used to connect to a database, and at the same time also generate a file based on the fields, based on a database table. Okay, it will specify the fields. Let's say, for example, instead of manually trying to write insert into and so on, it will actually generate a code so that it will shorten the development time of the programmer. So the programmer no longer needs to code everything manually, since basically the code generator will generate the code for the programmer. Currently, it only supports it currently supports uh, two methods. The first one is using codeigniter, because codeigniter is one of those frameworks that I'm currently using for my work, codeigniter 3. I'm also going to update my code generators to support codeigniter 4. Excuse me. Then it also supports plain SQL statements. Okay, so let me just try to show you guys how it works. So we have here localhost and root. So basically, I'm currently running it on my local server. So I haven't actually tested it yet on a Linux server, but I'll be testing it maybe one of these days on an actual Linux server. So we have here localhost and we have here root. Then of course we have your password in database. So let's say, for example, you won't be specifying database name. Okay, so let's just try to click login. So basically on the left hand side, you will see all of the tables currently found on the database server. You can also see the host name, current user, database uptime, incoming host request, as well as database variables. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have here shopping cart. Okay, so shopping cart is one of the things, or one of the projects that we have done previously. Now we have here we can actually specify the host name, username, and password, as well as the database name. As you can see, the database name is added here already by default. So let's say, for example, we're going to download the connection string. Now, the main difference between the connection string and the connection class is that for connection string, it's actually just a plain connection string. So if we're going to click download, okay, so we have here already db_connect, as you can see. Okay, let me just try to show it to you guys. Okay, so you can actually see it here already, db_connect. Then let me just try to show you the downloads. Okay, let me just try to open also. So we have here the db connect. So what is the contents of my db_connect? This one. Okay, let me just try to make it a little bit small so that it can be clear. It can be clearly seen. Okay, so you have here connect is called MySQL connect. Okay, enable to connect to database. I also specified here the name of the database. Okay, then throw exception. Okay, so basically that's the content of my db connect. Okay, let me just try to close. Okay, close all to the left. Okay, let me just also close this one. What about if we're going to use connection class? So I'm going to download. Okay, as you can see, it's already downloaded. They have the same file name, since they are both a file that will enable us to connect to the database. Okay, this one. And again, okay, so we have here, it's actually written in a class form. So there's no construct whatsoever on the connection string. So you can actually use this one to connect to a database. Okay, JSON encode exception and so on. So this is it. Next, okay, let me just try to erase this files. Okay, now we have here also SQL. This is actually just plain SQL. So we have here controller and model. So for controller, I'm going to click download controller. okay, categories, since basically we have here categories. So it will actually generate a file, a controller file for categories, for table categories. So okay, going to right click, show you guys what is the fields. Okay, so we have here defined base path. Okay, this is also the very same content of very same structure of your codeignator controller. Now again, I'm not in any way connected to codeignator. I am just using codeignator as my primary tool when it comes to web development. So we have here model. Okay, instantiate the class called. Then we have here only two fields. We have your category and description. Okay, if let's say for example, this is actually for the form field validation. Okay, so category and description. Okay, so we can also specify our very own custom message here if we wanted to specify a custom message here. Then everything actually will fall under save. Okay, from update up until inserting new data. So for this part, this is since we have here, it will actually check for ID. If ID is 0 or ID is empty, then it will insert new row on the database. Otherwise, it will just actually update based on its ID or primary key. Now again, you can also specify uh, the reference on what reference you're going to base it to update your row. Now, what about this? What is this true? I specified here true. Now, this is a way for CodeIgniter to check for cross-site scripting. Okay, so that's why I specified there true. Okay, then for delete, you also have here delete. Then get single. When we talk about what do we mean when say get single? So basically, for get single, it means that we'll only be returning a single row. That's why we have here get model. This model get single ID. Okay, so we'll be specifying here row. This model get single. Okay. I still need to fix this one. I think this one should be model row. Okay, so I still need to fix. As what I've said, this is still a work in progress. Then we also have here. You also need to fix this one. Okay. Then get message. This is actually version 2 already with for my code generator. The other one that I'm currently using, which is version 1, is up and running, but there are still some things that is not properly done, especially when it comes to the user interface. It's not that intuitive. That's why I develop this particular version, which is version 2. Okay. Oh yeah, actually this is correct. By the way, this is correct. We have here get single, then we also have here get all. Okay, this is actually correct. Sorry. So let me just try to show you guys what I mean. So after generating categories, decide to generate also our model. Okay, same thing, categories as well. So this is already our categories. This is our model. Okay, we have your CI model is public. Okay, access modifiers. We have your ID, category description. Now again, same thing here also. We have here if okay, as you can see, as what I've said, this is still a work in progress. There's no condition here. I still need to do this one. This will also supposed to be actually. This will also be. We have it here also. This should have something like that. Okay. So I'm going to. As what I've said, this is still a work in progress. So we have here insert categories data, which is actually taken from this one, and ID. Okay, data also is taken from this one. Also, data should not be displayed here. Okay. Now again, as what I've said, this is still a work in progress. So function delete data. Okay. This is delete. Then get single. Okay. So this is okay. This is in reference with this one. Okay, this we actually use this one for, we actually use this one here. So I use the same method name so that it won't be confusing on my part. Then we also have here get all. Okay, as you can see, there's no condition whatsoever. Column name, then search. Now, what is column name? You can specify the name of the column. Okay, so you can actually specify the name of the column, but as you can see, there's no search here. So it should have something like for this part, something like that, or something also like that. Okay, but since this one is supposed to be required, so there should be, you also need to specify here the name of the column where there's a condition that needed to be met. Okay, so this is for both, this is actually used for CI or codeigniter 3. Now what about for SQL statement? Okay, so let me just try to show you. Now, instead of using the built-in functions like what we have here in codeigniter, I basically use SQL statements. So as you can see, we have your SQL statement. I also try to use bind parameters, category description, MySQL, execute of the query, and so on. I also have here, uh, okay, again, there's still an error. Should be placed here. Okay. It's one of the good things, by the way, is that I could actually spot already the different errors that need to be fixed. Okay, so we have your SQL and so on. Okay. You also have here categories. Okay. Row, get single, delete. Then we also have here exception. Now, what I'm using, as you can see, is that they have the same method name. Okay. So save. Let's have here get all, get single. You also have here delete. So this is actually one of the projects that I'm currently working on, or one of my personal projects I'm currently working on. Maybe I'll be releasing it on my GitHub page once everything is done, once I've tested everything. But currently, since I'm still working on it, I still won't be able to release it for you guys to test and check. So just I'm going to keep you guys updated and posted when I'll be uploading and this personal project of mine, so that you can also test it out and maybe you can make some comments on this simple tool that I created and made.